The cracks within South Africa's much-celebrated Government of National Unity, GNU, are beginning to widen, and the latest parliamentary session has made it abundantly clear the coalition experiment is in crisis. At the center of the unfolding drama stand three figures: President Cyril Ramaphosa, EFF leader Julius Malema, and DA strategist Helen Zille, each playing a very different but equally consequential role. For Ramaphosa, the moment felt like a siege. For Malema, it was an uprising. And for Zille, it was the quiet but deliberate pulling of political strings. Together, their interactions exposed the fragility of the GNU and hinted at a looming power realignment in South Africa's politics. Julius Malema has long built his political reputation on bold confrontation, but his latest attack on Ramaphosa was strikingly direct, even by his standards. In a fiery speech, Malema accused the president of leading a government held hostage by the interests of capital and stitched together by fear of collapse. He charged that the GNU had failed to deliver meaningful reform, pointing to rising unemployment, worsening inequality, and a parliament bogged down by compromise politics. Malema's words landed with precision. By painting Ramaphosa as a weak leader trapped in indecision, he tapped into growing frustration among ordinary South Africans who see little improvement in their daily lives. The EFF leader declared that the GNU had become a theater of betrayal, where promises to the poor are exchanged for political survival. His speech was not just an attack on policy, but a direct questioning of Ramaphosa's legitimacy. And in that moment, the chamber witnessed a president being cornered, struggling to defend himself as opposition benches erupted in applause and ANC MPs shifted uncomfortably in their seats. While Malema roared, Helen Zille played the long game. The DA heavyweight, often described as the strategist-in-chief of her party, took a far more measured approach. In her remarks, she accused Ramaphosa of presiding over the slow death of accountability and warned that the GNU was collapsing under its contradictions. But Zille's intervention was more than just a critique. It was a calculated move to reposition the DA as the stabilizing force within the GNU. By subtly distancing her party from the president's faltering leadership, she sent a clear message: should Ramaphosa fall, the DA is ready to take the reins of influence. Behind closed doors, insiders whisper that Zille has been working tirelessly to consolidate the DA's bargaining power within the GNU, ensuring that every policy debate and negotiation tilts in her party's favor. Some have even gone so far as to describe her as the one quietly pulling the strings behind the GNU curtain. What unfolded in Parliament was more than just a dramatic exchange of words, it was a symbol of a government under strain. The GNU, formed in the wake of South Africa's most hotly contested election in decades, was meant to represent unity, compromise, and shared governance. Instead, it is increasingly being seen as a fragile alliance riddled with mistrust. Ramaphosa finds himself walking a tightrope, appeasing ANC hardliners, managing DA demands, and countering EFF pressure. But as Malema's fiery words and Zille's strategic maneuvers demonstrated, his balancing act is beginning to falter. The chaos in Parliament revealed the GNU's greatest weakness: a lack of clear leadership. Where unity was promised, disunity prevails. Where reform was expected, deadlock persists. Perhaps the most striking image of the session was Ramaphosa himself caught between Malema's uprising and Zille's quiet manipulation. His responses to both were muted, leaning on familiar rhetoric of stability and continuity. But for many in the chamber, the words rang hollow. Even within the ANC, whispers are growing louder about Ramaphosa's future. Some MPs fear that the president is becoming increasingly isolated and politically vulnerable, a leader unable to command the loyalty or confidence necessary to hold the GNU together. For Malema, this is the perfect opening to rally disillusioned South Africans to his cause. For Zille, it is a golden opportunity to extend DA influence without bearing the full cost of direct confrontation. The session has left the nation and political analysts asking a pressing question: can the GNU survive? If Ramaphosa clings to power, he will need to reassert his authority quickly, or risk being swallowed by the competing forces around him. If the GNU fractures, South Africa may face another era of instability, marked by realignments and possibly even early elections. And if Malema and Zille continue to apply pressure, one through firebrand populism, the other through calculated strategy, the president may find himself with no escape route left. What is clear is that the GNU, once hailed as a historic achievement, now looks increasingly like a ticking time bomb. South Africans watching the drama unfold saw more than a battle of personalities. They witnessed the deeper structural weaknesses of coalition politics laid bare. In Malema's cornering of Ramaphosa and Zille's string-pulling strategy, the GNU's instability became undeniable. For Ramaphosa, history may remember this as the moment his presidency began to unravel. For Malema and Zille, it may be remembered as the day they set in motion the reshaping of South African politics. One thing is certain, the GNU is no longer a symbol of unity. It is a battlefield. And Ramaphosa, once seen as the great reconciler, now stands cornered and uncertain of his next move.